Remember when Saturday mornings meant ThunderCats and a bowl of sugary cereal? That show wasn't just animated entertainment. It was a psychologist-approved moral experiment disguised as a toy commercial. Stick around, because these 10 facts will change how you remember your childhood favorite. Let's count down.
We're going to make a holographic record of everything that happens on Third Earth.
Sounds like fun!
Number 10. Writers built episodes around action figures. Here's the ultimate toy-driven creative process. ThunderCats writers sometimes received action figure designs from LJN before they had any storylines. Their job? Invent entire episodes around these plastic prototypes while somehow weaving in a psychologist-approved moral lesson. It was marketing meets mythology meets therapy session, all on weekday afternoon television. Imagine trying to write Shakespeare, but your producer keeps handing you Happy Meal toys and saying, "Work with this."
Hey, that's something! Doesn't really look like me.
That was ThunderCats in the mid-'80s. The result was a show where every villain, ally, and vehicle existed to sell merchandise while teaching kids about honesty and friendship. Writers had to balance commercial demands with narrative coherence, creating stories that served both the toy aisle and the Saturday morning audience.
Cheetara! Get out!
Number 9. Parents named 81 daughters Cheetara. Before 1985, the name Cheetara didn't exist in U.S. birth records, not a single one. By 1987, 29 babies were legally named after the lightning-fast feline heroine. Over the entire decade, 81 American girls received the name Cheetara on their birth certificates. It's the ultimate proof that ThunderCats wasn't just a show. It became part of family lineage.
Cheetara!
Lion-O, why are you standing there? There's still 5 miles to go.
I know.
Those Cheetaras are in their late 30s now, probably explaining their name at every job interview and first date. The name represents peak 80s parenting, bold, pop culture driven, and completely unafraid of long-term consequences. Meanwhile, names like Jennifer and Michael dominated the charts, but somewhere in every classroom sat one Cheetara. She was probably the coolest kid in school, or had the toughest time with substitute teachers. Either way, her parents made a statement that echoed for decades.
I got him!
Amazing! Not more than a few seconds.
Number 8. Marketed to parents, not children. Most cartoons in the 80s aimed straight at kids' eyeballs and wallets. ThunderCats took a different route. Telepictures placed print ads in parenting magazines promising all the action your children love, plus lessons about respect and justice. This wasn't a toy commercial masquerading as entertainment. It was pitched as a character-building tool your kids could watch guilt-free.
It's a matter of honor. I cannot call them.
The strategy worked brilliantly. Parents felt virtuous letting their kids watch, and kids got epic sword battles and ancient Egyptian mummies. Everyone won. Except maybe the kids who had to sit through moral discussions afterward. It was revolutionary positioning in an era when parental advocacy groups were attacking cartoons left and right. By preemptively addressing moral concerns, ThunderCats turned potential critics into champions. The show became acceptable programming in households that normally banned action cartoons. That's not just smart marketing. That's psychological warfare against parental guilt. Number 7. Every single episode was vetted by a psychologist. To calm nervous parents, Rankin Bass hired Dr. Robert Quiescis to read every ThunderCats script before production. His mission? Ensure each episode carried a strong, clear moral lesson that wouldn't warp young minds.
I am Lion-O, Lord of the ThunderCats. I command you to halt, Snow Cat.
Dr. Quiescis wrote brief evaluation reports on the first 65 episodes, creating a unique paper trail of therapeutic cartoon analysis. It's simultaneously the best and strangest gig in television history. This wasn't just entertainment. It was moral education with battle axes and laser whips. Dr. Kuisis essentially became the show's ethical guardian, protecting both the audience and the producers from controversy. His reports covered everything from conflict resolution to displays of courage under pressure. No other action cartoon of the era had this level of psychological oversight.
Chattered nervously. All three stared fearfully at the telescreen.
Number 6. ThunderCats became literal school homework. Telepictures printed 40,000 study guides and distributed them to elementary schools across America. Teachers were encouraged to assign ThunderCats episodes as official homework, then discuss the moral lessons in class the next day. Kids were told to go home, watch cartoon cats fight mummies, and be ready for classroom analysis. It was the only time in history when I watch TV was a legitimate homework excuse.
You made it, Lion-O.
Thanks to your training, Panthro. It's downhill all the way from here.
The study guides turned Saturday morning entertainment into Wednesday afternoon curriculum. Your parents weren't just letting you watch cartoons. They were investing in your moral development. The guides included discussion questions like, what did Lion-O learn about responsibility? And how did the ThunderCats demonstrate teamwork? Teachers could assign cartoons and call it character education, which must have felt like winning the pedagogical lottery. Students suddenly had homework they actually wanted to do. Meanwhile, educators could justify screen time with academic language and structured learning objectives. It was a perfect storm of convenience, wrapped in educational legitimacy, delivered through animated cats with weapons.
This is, without a doubt, one of the coolest things I've ever seen. This is the quintessential holy grail for ThunderCats collectors.
Number 5. The Mad Bubbler prototype sold for $25,000. Among ThunderCats collectors, one figure stands above all others, the Mad Bubbler. This grotesque villain toy never made it past the hand-painted prototype stage and never hit store shelves. Only one prototype survived in private hands. When it finally surfaced decades later, a collector paid $25,000 to own it. That's more than most people's cars for a toy that was never meant to exist. The figure itself was disturbing, a blob-like creature that looked like it escaped from a fever dream. LJN apparently decided it was too weird or too unmarketable for mass production. But that rejection created mystique and rarity that transformed it into collector legend. Somewhere, a middle-aged man displays this prototype in a climate-controlled case, and his investment portfolio includes action figures alongside stocks and bonds.
Better. Head clearing. Legs steadier.
Number 4. Lion-O's birthday trial almost killed a village. On Lion-O's coming-of-age birthday, he had to prove himself worthy of leadership through brutal trials. Without his sword of omens or shield, he fought each of his own teammates in individual combat challenges. The trial of strength against Panthro involved stopping a massive boulder that was rolling toward an innocent village. One slip, and Lion-O would have crushed dozens of civilians on his birthday. The episode remains the most grueling test any ThunderCat ever faced, and Lion-O barely survived his own celebration. Each trial pushed him to physical and mental limits: combat skills against Tigra, speed against Cheetara, wisdom against Panthro. The other ThunderCats weren't going easy on him either. They were legitimately trying to defeat him to prove he wasn't ready. It's the ultimate sink-or-swim leadership philosophy. Either you're strong enough to lead, or you're not. There was no participation trophy, no runner-up prize. Lion-O earned his position through blood, sweat, and nearly causing a civilian massacre.
Transform this decayed form to Mumm-Ra!
Number 3. Mumm-Ra buried Lion-O alive. In the episode The Last Day, the ancient spirits of evil gave Mumm-Ra an ultimatum: destroy the ThunderCats by sunset or be banished forever. Mumm-Ra's solution? bury Lion-O alive in the ground, and demolish the Tower of Omens with the rest of the team inside. For a psychologist-approved children's show, this was shockingly violent and dark. Mumm-Ra ultimately failed and was banished anyway, but not before committing what amounts to attempted murder and property destruction. Remember, this aired on weekday afternoons between cereal commercials. Kids watched their hero get buried alive, then went outside to play.
Transform this decayed form to Mumm-Ra!
The episode didn't soften the horror either. You see Lion-O struggling underground, suffocating, desperate. The Tower of Omens collapses with the ThunderCats trapped inside, rubble crushing their headquarters. It's apocalyptic storytelling for an audience that probably hadn't learned fractions yet. Mumm-Ra's desperation made him more dangerous than ever, willing to use methods he'd previously avoided, which raises fascinating questions about what qualified as morally acceptable in 1985. Number 2. Animated in Japan, voices recorded in America. Though often called an American cartoon, ThunderCats was actually animated by Pacific Animation Corporation in Japan. Scripts, production, and voice acting all happened in the United States, but the actual animation work crossed the Pacific. This transoceanic workflow helped define the hybrid anime-influenced look that dominated 80s television animation. It's why ThunderCats had that distinctive visual style, part American action, part Japanese fluidity. The show was a cultural collaboration before global entertainment became standard. The Japanese animators brought techniques and aesthetics that American studios couldn't replicate at the same budget. They understood dynamic action sequences, dramatic speed lines, and expressive character movement in ways that elevated the entire production. Meanwhile, American writers and voice actors provided the cultural context and dialogue that resonated with US audiences. The result was a show that felt uniquely American, but looked distinctly different from purely domestic productions. ThunderCats became a bridge between animation traditions, influencing a generation of artists and viewers who grew up on both cultures simultaneously.
Seize them!
Number 1. Lion-O actually dies in the series. Here's the fact that reshapes everything. In the episode The Thunderscope, Mumm-Ra doesn't just defeat Lion-O, he kills him. While trying to steal a legendary Thunderian artifact, Mumm-Ra attacks Lion-O in cold blood. His body lays down until Jaga's spirit appears and resurrects his body through mystical intervention. This wasn't a fake-out or a dream sequence. The main hero of a psychologist-approved moral education show literally died and required supernatural resurrection. The episode treated death seriously too. No quick revival, no immediate recovery. Jaga's spirit had to intervene from beyond the grave to bring Lion-O back to life, emphasizing how final and real the death was. Think about the message this sends to young viewers. Even the strongest hero can die, and sometimes only divine intervention saves you. It's heavy theology wrapped in animated cat people and ancient artifacts.
Go on, Thunder Kittens. I'll get you.
Bonus fact: the core team was an ensemble unlike any other. Before we wrap, let's appreciate the squad that made it all work. The core roster: Jaga, Lion-O, Panthro, Cheetara, Tigra, Snarf, and the Thunder Kittens, Wily Kit and Wily Cat, created a team dynamic that balanced wisdom, strength, speed, strategy, comic relief, and youthful energy. Each character brought something essential to the table. No member was disposable or redundant. It's rare for an 80s action show to juggle that many leads without someone feeling like dead weight. Yet every ThunderCat earned their spot through distinct personality and skill set. That's why the show endured when so many contemporaries faded. You didn't just watch for Lion-O, you watched for the whole crew. So there you have it, 10 wild facts, plus a bonus, that prove ThunderCats was way more complex than your childhood brain realized.